Hi guys, it's what time you got here? I started without you. It's trying to be a John Kerry day. We just got a light cloud cover and still got a bit of haze coming from the forest fires. Just fixed a bunch of lights on the motorhome. It's dirty contacts. Hard to see because I'm looking towards the sun here, but the clearance lights up there, a couple of them were out, one on the front, one on the back. I actually bought new clearance lights to put on this thing all the way around, but I bought them in last year and didn't get around to doing them. So that's where that stands. So what I'm doing today is right here. I had a headlight out, and the previous owner had taken the time to put some nice aluminum screen there. Helps keep the bugs out of the rad. It's easy to clean with a brush. I can just reach in from here. I can reach from under the bumper. Works really well for that. While I have it apart though, you have to take the whole grill out to change a headlight on this. It's one piece. I'm going to clean these all up while I've got it apart. And also, someone had used a couple of Robertson screws here to hold the grill on in the center. There's normally a clip like this on each side here, and one of them is missing, and this one was on backwards, so it wasn't grabbing where it was supposed to. So I flipped it around, but I'm still going to use those screws. But what they had also done was, on these outer ones, there's no captive nut or anything, so they just used zip ties, which, no, I don't really want to do it that way. So I'll show you what I got going here, and just going to move my stuff off my little stool here. It's actually a stool for people to use in a bathtub. I have a new one from that was my mom's that I'm using, and this is the old one I had that was my father-in-law's and my mother-in-law's, but the rubber feet had rotted, so you can't use it in the bathtub anymore. So it works great as a stool and a small table to work on. But I'll show you what I'm doing here before I put the grill back in. I was lucky that I got this from the Bowman distributor when I was working at the garage. It was a damaged one, and the latch doesn't line up properly. So I don't care if it's tweaked a little bit. You know, I've tweaked it back closer. I could likely do a better job of it. But what I keep in there is brass fittings for airlines. You know, these are all for my airlines. Plus, you know, compression fittings, elbows, you know, brake line fittings, all sorts of, a whole selection I've got over the years. Even have a swivel connector for air tool in here. But what I also have is, these are for rods in the doors where you'd clip, you know, where you'd have a linkage to operate a door latch. I have a selection of those I've collected over the years. I always take them off cars that I strip. But I also have various types of body clips that I've collected over the years. So I'm going to see if I can find some that'll work on the outside here. And I think these ones will likely do it. Nope, too small. So I'll look and see if I have a bigger one in there with a screw, and then I can put it back. If not, in the garage I also have some that are nylon captive nut that I could use. So, well, I'm not going to have you sit and watch me sorting through these trying to find one that'll work. So what I'll do is I'll work on cleaning these up and getting the headlight back in. See there, that's what I mean by the latch doesn't fit. The lid is tweaked, or the whole thing is tweaked. And it will close. You just have to make sure it lines up right. So minor detail, but he wouldn't use it or issue it. So I'm going to clean these up, and the way I'm going to do it is a little bit of fine steel wool, which I have a couple pieces of here, and a couple of wet shop towels. So the first thing I want to do is kind of wash them with the shop towel and see how bad they are. And actually it's cleaning up pretty nice. Although I can feel a bit of corrosion on them. I don't know if I'll have to steel wool these. But it's just so much easier to clean these when the grill is off than when the grill is on. So there we go. Let's see if we got it all off under there. How's it look? Does that pass your inspection? Passes mine. Now, a few years ago, it would have to have been absolutely spit and polish spotless, and I would have replaced the screws because they're rusty. But my standards were always so high on doing things that I wouldn't let Amber do stuff in the house. Like painting, because she doesn't paint to the standards I have. Neither do the boys. So it's not really fair to them. It's not fair to me either. So when I started having more problems with my MS, I just let things go in the house. So I had to let go. I finally started to. So now Amber and the boys will do things in the house now, and as good as they get it is as good as it gets. Having the impossibly high standards that I used to work to was okay for me, but expecting other people to work to standards that are a little bit stupid, I don't know. So I lowered my standards. For years and years at our first house, things didn't get done because I didn't have time to do them. And part of it is my dad taught me to do things to possible standards. My dad always preached when you do a job, you do it right. Say, why is it people don't find the time or don't have the time to do it right, but they can always find the time to do it over? And it's true. Doing something over ends up taking a lot more time than doing it right the first time. So I grew up working like that, which is not a bad thing. On the other hand, it can really hinder getting things done when you need things done. I changed my standards to what would be acceptable to everyone else in the world. And I have to tell you, it hurts. It really does. Before I put this headlight in, one of the things I do is take a really close look to see if the pins are corroded, which they look okay. They look pretty clean. And also, I use this. This is a dielectric grease that I use, and I use this on my spark plug boots, on the inside of them, on both ends, on the distributor end and on the plug end. The boots come off real easy then. They never cook on, and it also blocks the moisture from getting in, and it doesn't, because it doesn't conduct electricity, it doesn't short in the rain. So what I do with this, though, is I'm going to put a little bit at each of the terminals. And there will be metal-to-metal contact in there. But there will also be a water barrier. So this is a handy way of putting it too, with like a syringe. I had about 4 or 5 of those, and this near empty one is the only one I have left. It seems that my boys have more dielectric grease than I have for some reason. I just can't figure that out. Another thing too, when you first plug in the headlight, don't just plug it in and put it all back together. I've had this happen. You don't know if that headlight was good out of the box. So take the time to check it before you put everything back together. Before I even mount it, I've got it plugged in. Now we'll go and turn it on, and we'll see. Easier this way. I'll put the window down. Okay, so let's see what we got. We'll just put you down here, and you guys can watch for me. Just have to prop you up using a screwdriver here to make sure you can see, and let's make sure that the low beam and the high beam both work. So what do you think? Good enough fix? I think so. Okay, so take it off high beam, turn the lights off. Having done probably thousands of headlights over the years, working in a fleet garage, you're doing several a week. We have a fleet of over 1,000 vehicles. And we have 8 or 10 mechanics. You tend to do a lot of headlights and stuff like that. Although we did have utility workers, as they were called, that did minor stuff like that, or washed vehicles, or changed wiper blades. But sometimes, you're working on a vehicle, doing an inspection, and you're going to do all the light repairs. So anyway, I'm getting this headlight back together. I'm also getting up to 15 minutes. So I'm going to cut you loose, and I'll bring you back in the next one. So, in the meantime, Iceman just screwing around on the motorhome. And I mean, literally screwing around. So, take it easy and have a good one.